And welcome to Local Edition on Time Warner Cable. I'm Steve Swatt with the Sacramento Report. In the next few minutes, we're going to talk about initiatives at the state capitol in mental health funding. My guest is Brian Maienschein, who's a member of the State Assembly from San Diego. Thanks very much for being with us.
Thanks for having me, Steve.
And I know mental health is an issue that you're really focusing on in terms of your legislative package. It is.
It's something I'm very passionate about. I was the San Diego County Commissioner on Homelessness for the 4 years before I was elected, and it's an issue that I really care about. It's something that I think could make a difference, not just for San Diego, but really for the state.
I know you're carrying a number of bills that deal with mental health issues, those with disabilities. One of them, 954, AB 954, which will help those with developmental disabilities find and keep jobs?
Yeah, exactly. You know, it's important that those with developmental disabilities are out in the workforce, out engaging in life, and I want to do what I can to help assist that. And it helps obviously improve the quality of their life, plus it helps local businesses too. So as you said, I've sponsored a bill, AB 954, that will make it easier for those with developmental disabilities to get out in the workforce.
And how would that work?
What it does is it allows people who help assist them with life skills and assisting them in other ways. It helps make sure that they're paid at a rate that's competitive. California has fallen so far behind. What I do is just make sure that they're paid at a rate consistent with the rates in 2006. So it's something I think for a profession that we want to make sure people go into. We want to make sure we get qualified and effective people in that position. It's certainly not something that people are going to do to go get rich or make a lot of money, but it's something I think we need to do to be competitive.
Are these primarily community-based groups?
Yeah, almost all of them are community-based groups, people who get in there and want to help those who are really in need of some help.
So is this a general fund item?
It is. It is. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I know you have another bill that grants some flexibility when it comes to spending mental health funds, correct?
Exactly. Throughout the state of California, the counties are really the ones that are at the front line of dealing with mental health. And so what I would do, my bill would allow those counties a little bit greater flexibility in how mental health is funded. For example, what works in LA may not be exactly what's working in San Diego or San Francisco or even smaller, more outlying cities and counties. So I want to make sure that those counties that are being successful in how they deal with mental illness have a flexibility to allocate funding from one source towards mental health funding.
And so right now, that flexibility isn't there? I mean,
it's not. It's not really there enough. What my bill would do is it would allow, there's essentially, and it gets a little bit complicated, but there's essentially three different pockets of money. And it's been very strictly defined where this money comes from. What I'd allow is mental health funding could take funding from the other two pots up to 10%. So it's not a huge amount, make sure the other areas are still funded well, but at the same time, for those counties who have a huge mental health need and a backlog, it'll allow them greater flexibility.
We only have about a minute left, and while you're here, I want to talk about a third bill that you're carrying, which deals with foster youth, and it's a problem I think a lot of us don't think about in terms of their ability, these young kids, to graduate high school on time.
You're right, Steve. What happens now is, for people who are in the foster youth system, they may bounce around from school to school, and sometimes they aren't able to take the courses necessary to graduate in the school they end up there, where they end up their senior year. And so the Assembly bill that I'm working on with Assemblymember Stone is that it would allow schools that meet the minimum California requirements to still graduate foster youth, to make sure they're able to graduate high school.
And so, okay, because right now many of them are being delayed by what, a year or two?
They're being delayed by a year or two for things that are out of their control because they have bounced around from school to school.
All right. Well, Assemblyman Maienschein, thanks very much for coming by, talking about three elements of your legislative agenda this year. We appreciate it.
Thank you, Steve.
And thanks to our viewers also for watching Local Edition on Time Warner Cable. You can see this interview and others also on My Government on Demand and YouTube. I'm Steve Swatt. Have a great day.